Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out and reviewing a new concealer from the drugstore. It's been out for a little bit, but it's still labeled as new, so that's what I'm going to call it. I'm talking about the Essence Keep Me Covered Concealer. This retails for $4.99, so $5 US, and you can find it in 10 different shades. I have 2 of the shades with me. This is number 50 in Warm Shell, or the shade name is Warm Shell. Number 50. And this one, I took the sticker off, but I know what it is. This is light medium number 60. Now the details for this concealer state that it is going to easily hide spots, redness, and dark circles. It is supposed to be a very lightweight, barely noticeable formula that is going to nourish the skin as it is infused with aloe vera. The coverage is meant to be medium, but it can be built up for high coverage, which is what I think I might do with this concealer. Now, as far as how to use it, pretty straightforward. You're just going to apply it onto the spots of the face or the areas of the face that you'd like to highlight, conceal, or to smooth out. And then you can go in with either your finger, a brush, or sponge to blend it out. Now let's get into the swatches. Like I said, I have 2 of the shades. They look a bit yellow. So those are the 2 shades that I have. This one is the lighter of the 2. So this one is number 50, Warm Shell, and this one is number 60, Light Medium. Definitely gonna be going with number 60. So let's get into it. I'm going to pair this with my Smashbox and Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector in the shade Medium. This one is a very hydrating color corrector, and based on how the swatches felt the last time that I wore this concealer, which was like a soft matte finish is what it felt like to me. I'm going to pair it with this because I think it'll do really well with it. And I'm only going to be color correcting the right side. I want to see how much coverage we can get with the concealer just by itself without any help. All right, so color corrector is on. I am going to jump right into concealing because I am going to be wearing the new Lawless Pressed Powder Foundation. I love this stuff. I really do. But since it is a powder foundation, I have to apply all of my liquids first. So we're going to go right into the concealer. Like I said, I'm going to be working with light medium number 60 just because it seems like it might do the best underneath my eye area as far as the shade. And I'm just going to apply it here along the inner corner where I need it. And I'm going to be blending it out using a brush today. So I'm taking my Soft Blend number 10 brush from Sigma Beauty. And this is what I'm going to be using to spread it around. All right, so there's just the one layer. We're gonna add a little bit more right here. It's a bit more yellow than I would like it to be. So we are gonna try to build it up right here, just a little bit. It does have a very fluid and light consistency. Definitely a medium coverage concealer, but it looks like it's building up pretty well. All right, so there we are, one side done. Now on to the other side to see what that looks like. Again, just gonna start off with that much and then apply a little bit more if need be. All right, so there it is by itself. Definitely medium coverage for sure with just the one layer. So just like the right side, I'm gonna apply a little bit more right there. That's quite a bit more actually. A bit more than I usually do, but let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna try to keep it further down so that it doesn't end up settling heavy into my fine lines, the ones that I have right underneath my eye. When I do apply additional product, I like to keep it lower than my first layer, just to minimize the amount of product that's going to be settling into my fine lines, and so that it doesn't look heavy or cakey, and it just smoothly transitions from like my under eye onto my cheek. All right, so it does look nice and light. The coverage is definitely medium, even built up. But if you're wearing a corrector, if you're wearing the right corrector, it will give you pretty high coverage. So now I'm not sure if I'm going to set it. I'm not sure yet. But in case I don't, I'm going to zoom you guys in so that you can see what this concealer looks like underneath the eyes after initial application. All right, so here we are up close. This is the side that was corrected, and this is the side that is not. So far, I don't see it really settling a whole lot, maybe just a little bit over here, just a tiny, tiny bit. So I'm gonna blend that away and proceed. I'm gonna jump off camera just to apply foundation onto the face. I'm not applying foundation underneath the eyes. I'm gonna try to leave those alone and then determine whether or not this needs to be set. If it continues to settle into my fine lines, then I will set it. I will have to set it. But if not, I might just dust it a little bit so it doesn't look so shiny if it doesn't set as more of like that matte finish, a soft matte finish that I remember. So I'm gonna jump off camera really quickly, apply foundation onto the entire face, and I will be right back. All right, I am back. Foundation is on, and I do believe we're gonna have to set this. Okay, we're gonna have to set it. So let me get my trusty Trip and Smooth setting powder from Oma Beauty. This guy right here. This is in the shade Light, and I'm going to lightly set the under eye area. So I'm going to take a little bit of that powder. I'm just going to set this in place, and I might also do it with my little triangular powder puff. I really like setting the under eye area that way, but first I want to do like a really light dusting. So now I'm just going to press whatever small amount of powder I applied underneath the eyes. I'm going to press it with one of my little triangular powder puffs rather. Now the last thing that I'm going to do is take a little bit of the Essence banana powder and brighten the under eye area just a little bit. I feel like it looks a little bit deep over here. Not so much over here, more so over here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that and just pat it onto the under eye. Let me zoom you guys in one last time. My right eye, for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, it's crazy. The pollen outside is insane. My allergies are just acting up. So it is watering a little bit. So that's what you see right there along the inner corner, but nothing's happening over here. So I'm just gonna leave it. Let me zoom you guys in one last time so that you can get a good look underneath the eyes after I've set this with a powder. All right, so here's the under eye area. I think it looks a little bit dry now that I've set it, which isn't always a wonderful start, but we'll see. We'll see how it wears. All right, now I'm gonna jump off camera one last time to finish the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. All right, I am back, ready to start the day. I feel like it looks fine, not great, not awful, a little dry and not enough coverage, but it looks fine. So we'll see how the day goes. It is currently 8:46 in the morning. I'm starting this one early because I kind of want to finish this early because I kind of want to hit the gym later. But anyway, I'll be back in a few hours, probably like around noon or something like that, to give you guys an update and to show you what this looks like under natural lighting, see what it's doing, that kind of thing. So I will see you in a few hours for my midday check-in. All right, I am back for a quick midday check-in under natural lighting. It is currently 3:54, which means that I've had this concealer on now for, well, like a little over 4 hours, right? This is what it looks like up close. Remember, it's flipped. I'm using my front facing camera on my phone. So it's gonna be flipped. This eye is the one that has the color corrector underneath it. Looks like this, a little dry, and I can see my dark circles peeking through a little bit here. And this is the side that we did not color correct. Again, a little dry, and it's not concealing as much as this side. Although, you know, neither side is really truly concealing like high coverage, what I would consider to be high coverage. But other than it looking a little bit dry and the coverage not really being there, it's not too bad. Okay, not too bad for a half day, like midday check-in rather. So I'm gonna continue to wear this for another 3 hours or so before I call it a day. Anyway, I'll see you back here in a few more hours for my final check-in. All right, I am back for my final check-in of the day. I actually have to finish this one off a little bit earlier than I expected by like 2 hours, but it's okay. It's currently 4:16 in the late afternoon, but I have a good idea. Like, I know how I feel about this concealer after wearing it for the majority of the day. But before I get into all of those opinions, I am going to zoom you guys in one last time so that you can get a good look underneath the eye area after almost a full day of wear. I was gonna say full day of wear, but it's really not. After a solid day of wear. All right, so this is the under eye area. As a reminder, this is the side with the Becca Corrector, the Smashbox Becca Corrector. And this is the side without. All right, so with that out of the way, now I can get into what I think about the concealer. You know, it's fine. The concealer is fine. It's a good concealer for it just being $5. I've worn worse underneath the eyes. The shade range, just like with the Pacifica concealer that I just reviewed, is abysmal. It is so bad. 10 shades is just not enough. And the one that I was able to make work, I thought was a little bit too yellow. So the shade is a little too yellow. The range is just not there. The coverage is medium, I would say, like medium to high medium, and you do have to build it up, but keep in mind that you do have to set it because it does tend to settle, at least in my experience. It did settle underneath, or in between fine lines rather, underneath the eyes. Once you set it, you're good to go. It seems like it has not worn off. It has not moved around. Maybe it has worn off just a tiny bit. Just a little bit it has worn off. And it does look dry. It looks dry underneath the eyes, but of course that could have a lot to do with the fact that I did set it and I applied a little bit of the brightening powder, but had I not set it, it would have just settled and it did not look good, okay? It didn't look good on its own. It needed to be set. It wore fine for, you know, the day. It wore fine for the hours that I wore it. Would I continue to use this over and over and over again? Probably not, especially not if I am looking for full coverage. You know, I feel like you have better options from the drugstore as far as concealers go. Maybe not as affordable as $4.99, but there are better options with higher coverage. Like the Catrice one is $7. I really wish that they would expand on that shade range. Both of the concealers. The only difference, it's like the one drop concealer I actually favor over their, what is it? I think it's, what is it called? Their camo concealer, I think. But anyway, we're talking about Catrice here. I actually like those better than this one, especially the weightless one drop because the coverage is insane. The only reason why I don't pick up the other Catrice one as much is because the scent is just too strong. So if you're sensitive to scents, I would stick with like the one drop concealer from Catrice. And if you're not sensitive to scents, then the camouflage concealer, I think it's the name of it. I'll put it down in the description box below. That one will be great because that one actually has a wider shade range than the one drop concealer. So I would look into those before looking into this one if you're really truly trying to conceal darkness and have it last all day. I really like that formula because it is a much more, although it is a matte formula, it's a soft matte formula, but it has a lot of flexibility. So it's not going to go anywhere and it's not going to look excessively dry. It's going to give you really nice high pigmented coverage. And it's going to last all day long. And it's not as yellow as this one. So do I hate it? No, I don't hate it. I've worn worse that have been like, you know, 5 times the amount or whatever. I've worn worse concealer, 6 times the amount. But would I grab this over my other drugstore concealers that I've chosen to keep? No, I wouldn't. So good, not great. I'll put it there. It's all right. It's all right. So that completes today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's product review and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. And also don't forget to follow me over on Instagram where I absolutely love to interact with you guys. As always, take care and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.